Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the East Riding of Yorkshire series. Together with the unparished city of Hull, it forms the county of the same name. There's 172 parishes here. Which one are we in today? Welcome back to the East Riding of Yorkshire, everybody. Now, I'm very, very pleased that this one doesn't have any extraterrestrial bits. It's just the main walk around. This must be one of the longest villages in the country. It's definitely not the longest one in Yorkshire because we've already seen that, but it's probably one of the longest in East Yorkshire. It stretches for a long way from east to west. I'm standing kind of in the middle. So let's go around it and have a look at it. It's called Beeford. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Welcome to perhaps the longest village in East Yorkshire. An unconfirmed theory of mine maybe, but I've yet to see one in this county that's as elongated as Beeford. Stretching for about a mile from the A165 in the east to the fringes of North Frodingham in the west, Beeford is another typical East Yorkshire village, lined with farmhouses and grand old properties, with some more modern ones thrown in here and there. Located as it is on the A165, plenty of traffic sees this village on a daily basis as it passes through it between Beverley and Bridlington. It's almost exactly halfway between the two, being approximately 10 miles northeast of the former and 8 miles south of the latter. Its main village street, which runs from the main road, once followed a different course to the one it does today. Almost certainly, Beeford was aligned in a more northerly fashion as opposed to east to west, which would explain why the church is sited where it is, away from the village centre. Beeford doesn't have a great deal of history, nor does it have any famous names associated with it. It's always been a typically agricultural village, but in the 19th century there were some less usual occupations like rope making, fish carrying, and even watchmaking too. It's still agricultural today, and as such I had to make my way through some sheep fields in this one. It was a long and interesting walk at times. Come with me and see exactly what I found. We begin almost exactly in the centre of Beeford's main street, a very long road that runs for around 1 mile from the A165 to Foston Lane. Most of it at this western end is made up of old brick farmhouses and outbuildings. At one time, the oldest properties, which date from the 18th and 19th centuries mainly, would have been sporadically dotted along this road. However, in the mid and late 20th century, many new houses were built in the gaps between them and in small estates behind the main village street. You can catch a bus here, here's the stop, and Beeford is served by the number 136, which goes to Bridlington. The course of this main road would have been a little different a few centuries ago too. It almost certainly once followed a more northerly course and would have skirted or crossed a village green. It's one reason why the church is sited away from the village centre, as we'll see in a short while. So you do feel that you're walking into pretty much nothingness effectively, because you keep walking and you keep walking and you keep walking and you never seem to reach the end of the village, and we're still not there. I've walked for a fair distance already, but you know what, it's not been boring, because one thing I do like about the East Riding in general is the fact that you get a nice mix of old and new. You can see behind me there's an old property there, and then here we've got some newer ones, so it's not boring. It's not like walking through a housing estate in a suburban area. You know, there's always something to keep you interested. We're still not at the end. We'll keep going. There's a handful of businesses at this western end. One of them is Fisher Modular Construction UK, who design and build food production facilities. Beeford's main local industry is still farming though. Although some of the old farmhouses are now general residences, there are one or two that are still in use. As we head for Foston Lane, we pass a telephone exchange on the right. This was added in around 1956 to cater for the needs of an ever-growing village. Now on Foston Lane we pass Priory Vets, part of a veterinary group that has branches in Bridlington and Driffield as well as here. Garth Pig Practice is here too, and they work mainly with local animal farmers. Beyond the vets, Foston Lane starts to bend to the right, and for a short while you think you're heading into the middle of nowhere. But around that bend there's a gate, squirreled away within a hedge on the right hand side. This will be our method of getting back into civilization. Okay, so this footpath runs all the way along the back of the main Beeford street, and as you can see it's not the best footpath in the world, is it? I've definitely walked on better, so fingers crossed it's not too bad as when I get through that gate, and hopefully I won't get stung by many nettles or many thistles on the way. Okay, through the first section, through the worst of it anyway. Don't know what's to come, but it's brought me into a field. This is correct, the path does follow the edge of this field. It's following a beck. There's a beck down there. You can't see it because it's all grown up, but trust me, there is a beck there, and this path eventually runs towards the playing field. So unless I see something else on the way, I will see you in the playing field when I get there. Okay, I'm almost at the playing field. To be honest with you, this has been a decent path, to be fair. It's mainly gone through sheep fields. 2 fields of sheep I've just had to traverse. There they all are, all enjoying the sunshine and eating grass. That's what sheep do, isn't it? So this is Beeford's sports area. Many sports are played here, including football, tennis, bowls and cricket. You're currently looking at Beeford Cricket Club. Of all the sports clubs based here, the Cricket Club were founded first. They date back to at least 1931. The Bowls Club, Tennis Club and a children's playground were provided later. A short hop over Rectory Lane brings us to Beeford's church. The village has had a church since at least the 11th century, but little remains of that original structure. Dedicated to St Leonard, this church is largely built of boulders with stone dressings and later brickwork. The tower and much of its south porch are of ashlar. Both the church and its adjoining churchyard were closed for burials in 1883. Despite that, new churchyard extensions were consecrated in 1884, 1925 and 1970. The churchyard also contains the War Memorial, which takes the form of a decorative Latin cross. Names from both World Wars are represented upon it. Okay, can confirm there are no more footpaths on this route. It is all roads now, thankfully. To be fair, it wasn't the best footpath in the world, but then again, it was just sheep and a cornfield and a few other bits and bobs. Not really overgrown much. Considering it's summer, that's actually pretty good going. Okay, so we've reached the road again. Here you are, here's the road. This leads down to the main road through the village. We're going to turn right and then right again and complete the circuit. At the end of Church Lane is a house with a blue plaque on it. It says nothing of note ever happened here, but still, it's pretty enough for inclusion, don't you think? On Bridlington Road is a Chinese restaurant called the Great Wall. It used to be a pub called the Yorkshire Rose. Older viewers might remember it as the Black Swan before it changed its name in 1996. Bridlington Road is the A165, and here it's following another beck, which you can sort of see in front of these houses. With water close by, it's no surprise there's an old pump. This would have been the village's water supply until piped water arrived. A few steps more and you're at the Chippy. Named Fish and Chips at Beeford, this has some excellent online reviews, one customer even describing them as the best fish and chips in Britain by a mile. It was closed, so I couldn't confirm or deny that claim. If you turn around, you're looking directly down Main Street once again. Welcome to the village centre. So this is the business end of Main Street, literally, because this is where all the main businesses are. We've just seen the fish and chip shop, but there's plenty of other things as well, including Beeford's pub, which is right behind me. That's called the Tiger Inn. Beeford once had 3 pubs. The Tiger Inn is the last one remaining. As well as this and the Yorkshire Rose, there was the Ship, which was demolished in 1996. The local shop is still going strong though. This Londis store, green stripy canopy and all, doubles as the village's post office. Outside is a parish notice board, and Beeford is in the books officially. Mark it off, folks. The East Riding has 59 to go. This notice board is actually on the wall of the old post office, which is next door. The old phone box is close by too. Now, the next building we're about to see used to be a former school building. In 1884 it was bought by the rector's daughter, Catherine Blanche Trevor, for conversion into a reading room associated with the Church of England Temperance Society. It's now St Leonard's Church Rooms. From here, Millview Crescent, where I began, is visible in the far distance, although we're not quite done with Beeford just yet. Okay, between here and the car there's really only 2 major landmarks left. One of them is a chapel and the other one is a school, but you never know, there could be something else as well. Just have to walk it and find out. Here's the school, Beeford C of E, which was founded in 1818. In 2018, it celebrated its 200th anniversary with a series of events. As part of them, a time capsule was buried. It contains a range of small items, everything from a copy of Farmers Weekly to a fidget spinner. It's due to be dug up in 2068. Bang next door is the Beeford Community Centre. This is effectively the village hall, and it was opened in 1989. That brings us to the chapel, again next door. This was originally a Wesleyan chapel and was built in 1866. The Primitive Methodists also had one too, but it closed in 1964 and has presumably now been demolished. Lastly, the other end of Rectory Lane, upon which is Harrison Family Butchers. This seems to be a pretty popular place, judging by the steady stream of customers that were arriving when I got here. Directly opposite we have the village's surgery, and that completes our circuit of Beeford. Time to leave this village behind. Next week we'll be looking at one that's nowhere near as lengthy as this one. In fact, it's a place where you can practically see all of it if you park in the centre. Saying that though, its boundaries also include 2 other small hamlets with their own interesting bits and bobs. See you later, folks. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.